Hi, my name is Gurkhan, and today I will show you step by step how to solve an equation using subtraction. To solve an equation using subtraction, you must use the reverse order of operations. The reverse order of operations is to do the exact opposite operation. So, if we have an equation that uses addition, we must use subtraction in order to solve it. So, what are the steps to solving an equation using subtraction? Well, the first step is to find the variable, and the second step is to find out what we know and how can we relate that to the variable. So we're trying to usually a variable can be an x or a y or any other letter, but x and y are the most common ones. So let me show you an example. 4 plus x equals 15. This is an equation that we can solve using subtraction. But how? So let's go back to the steps. First, we have to find the variable, which is x. So we're trying to find out the value of x. The second step is to find out what we know and relate that to the variable. So we know that 4 plus x equals 15. So if we were to use the reverse order of operation, which tells us to do the exact opposite operation, we would need to do subtraction, since this equation is addition. So if we were to subtract 15 by 4, we would get 11. So we now know that if we take away 4 from 15, we get 11. So that must mean that after adding 11, you get 15. So let's try to test this out. Let's prove that this is right. If we were to take 11 and plug it in as x, so let me just write that. 4 plus 11. Now, as you can see, we were right. 4 plus 11 is 15. So that must mean 11 equals x. So now that I've just shown you how to use subtraction to solve an equation, we can go on to more advanced equations. But keep in mind, you must use the same order of operations that I've just done here. So, keeping in mind and using the same steps as we did in the previous questions, we're going to have a bit more tricky question. So, 4 to the power of 2 plus x equals, let's say, 30. So now we have exponents in our equation. To solve this, we would have to use the exact same steps, but and the extra step is to simplify the question beforehand. So what I mean by simplifying the question is specifically just to simplify the exponent, which is 4 to the power of 2. So to do that, we'd have to do 4 times 4, which would give us, so 4 to the power of 2 is equal to 16. So now that we know that what 4 to the power of 2 is equal to, we can now have a more simplified equation. And the reason I had to simplify the exponent is because using 4 to the power of 2 by subtracting it from 30 would be mentally it would be easy, but physically to write it out would be challenging, and it makes things harder for us. So that's why we simplify it, because it makes things a lot easier. So 16 plus x equals 30. Sorry for my writing. So now that we've simplified our equation, we can now follow the original steps. So we're trying to find out the value of x, and we know that x, if we add x to 60, we get 30. So 30 subtracted by 16 would be 14. And to prove it, we would plug it in as x. So 16 plus 14 equals 30. So now we know that 14 equals x. Again, it may seem challenging. It uses the exact same steps, except if it has such things as an equation, or if you have such a question such as 4 times 5 in brackets, and then you have plus x, stuff like that, equals, let's say, 30. This question uses again the exact same steps, but you would just have to simplify this. And same thing applies if you have square root. If you have a square root of 30 plus x equals 30, the same rule would apply, but you would have to just simplify this, or find the square root of 30. So it's a simple task, but sometimes sometimes big numbers and obstacles such as square roots and brackets and exponents can sometimes make it seem challenging for us. But just always remember these 3 steps: identify, relate, and reverse order of operation.
And then prove it.
Lastly, thank you for watching my tutorial. I hope you learned something, and please leave any comments and constructive